Hello students, this is Mrs. Sonal Patil. In the last class, we completed the second chapter, that is biological classification. Today, we will begin with the third chapter, plant kingdom. Looking at the introduction, the two kingdom system of classification by Carolus Linnaeus in 1758 placed living organisms in two kingdoms, Plantae and Animalia. The kingdom Plantae of Linnaeus included bacteria, fungi, algae, liverworts, mosses, ferns, conifers, and flowering plants. As more and more information became available, the two kingdom system of classification was found to be inadequate. This gave the way for the three kingdom system of classification proposed by Ernst Haeckel, who introduced a new kingdom, Protista. It included unicellular organisms of both plant and animal kingdoms. Subsequently, the advent of electron microscope enabled scientists to distinguish the prokaryotic and eukaryotic type of cell organization among living organisms. This paved the way in 1966 for Copeland to add another new kingdom called Monera for the inclusion of all prokaryotes, thus proposing a four kingdom classification. In 1969, it was Robert H. Whittaker who went one step further by creating another kingdom, namely Mycota, to include fungi. Thus, he proposed the five kingdom classification, which consists of Monera, Protista, Mycota, Plantae, and Animalia. Over time, a number of groups of organisms originally included under the plant kingdom were removed from it. Kingdom Plantae is popularly known as the plant kingdom. Fungi and members of the Monera and Protista having cell walls have been excluded from Plantae, though earlier classifications placed them in the same kingdom. So, the cyanobacteria that are also referred to as blue-green algae are not algae anymore. Thus, according to five kingdom classification, the kingdom Plantae includes algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Coming on to the systems of classification, artificial system of classification. In this system, only gross superficial morphological characters such as habit, color, number, and shape of leaves, etc., are taken into consideration. So there were different types of system of classification. The first one is artificial system, which considered the superficial morphological, means external characters were considered according to this system of classification. They were based mainly on vegetative characters or on the androecium characters or on the androecium structure. So they were mainly based on the vegetative characters and the male reproductive structure and the characters. Hence, based on evolutionary relationship, kingdom Plantae, as we discussed, is classified into algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. But this system of classification had certain demerits. This system separates closely related species since they were based on few characteristics. This system gave equal weightage to vegetative characters and sexual characteristics. This is not acceptable because vegetative characters are more easily affected by environment. So these were the demerits of the artificial system of classification, which used only superficial morphological characters. Example for this system of classification is Linnaeus classification, and Aristotle's classification, etc. Coming to the next system of classification, next came the natural classification system. In this classification system, natural affinities among the organisms are taken into consideration. In this system, both external and internal features like ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology, and phytochemistry are also taken into consideration. So, this system considers the natural affinities among the organisms, and it also includes both external as well as internal features. The classification system, which includes under natural classification system, where George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker system, commonly called as Bentham and Hooker system of classification, is being included under natural classification system. Even Augustine de Candolle classification is coming under natural classification system. Then came the phylogenetic classification system. It is based on evolutionary relationships between the various organisms. So this system of classification is widely accepted. It is based on evolutionary relationships between the various organisms. It includes Whittaker's classification system. It includes Engler and Prandtl classification system, John Hutchinson classification system, and Arthur Conquest classification system. So these were the three classification system. The first one was artificial system of classification, secondly natural classification system, and third one phylogenetic classification system. We know we now use information from many other sources to help resolve difficulties in classification. These become more important when there is no supporting fossil evidence. Numerical taxonomy, which is now easily carried out using computers, is based on all observable characteristics. So it is based on observable characteristics, which includes it is computer based. So number and codes are assigned to all the characters and the data are then processed. In this way, each character is given equal importance, and at the same time hundreds of characters can be considered. So again, very important question, numerical taxonomy may be asked in the exam. Coming to cytotaxonomy, that is based on cytological information like chromosome number, structure, behavior, and chemotaxonomy that uses the chemical constituents of plant to resolve confusions are also used by taxonomists these days. So taxonomists are using cytological information, that is the branch is called as cytotaxonomy, which includes chromosome number, structure, behavior. Okay, whereas chemotaxonomy, it uses the chemical constituents of the plant to resolve confusions. This has been carried out by the taxonomist these days. Coming to algae, very important are the characteristic features. Algae are chlorophyll bearing simple thalloid. There is a spelling mistake here. It is THA, thalloid, THALLOID. So it is thalloid, autotrophic, and largely aquatic organisms. Most of them are aquatic forms, both found in freshwater and marine water. They are photosynthetic. The plant body here is called as thallus because it cannot be differentiated into true root, stem, and leaves, and because of which the plant body here is called as thallus. So remember, it is chlorophyll bearing, it is simple, it is thalloid, autotrophic, can prepare its own food, and it is largely aquatic. So the members of algae are found both in freshwater as well as in the marine water. They occur as microscopic unicellular. They may be unicellular, like example Chlamydomonas. They may be colonial form, example volvox. They may be filamentous like Eulothrix and Spirogyra, or massive plant bodies, kelps. Algae reproduce by vegetative, asexual, and sexual methods. So all three types of modes of reproduction can be seen under algae. So they will reproduce by means of vegetative means or asexual and sexual methods. Asexual reproduction takes place by the formation of motile zoospores. Sexual reproduction takes place by the fusion of gametes. The fusion between similar male and female gamete is called isogamous. Iso means same. So both male and the female gametes are similar in appearance, and because of which it is called as isogamous. Or it may be anisogamous, which is called, which is nothing but the fusion of between dissimilar male and female gametes is called anisogamous. The fusion between motile male with a large non-motile female gamete is called oogamous. So these are the three types. Isogamous, where both male and the female gametes are similar, whereas anisogamous is both are dissimilar, male and the female gametes are dissimilar, and oogamous is nothing but where here male is motile and the female is non-motile and it is large, it is called as oogamous. So these are the characteristic features of algae. Remember again, they are chlorophyll bearing simple thalloid autotrophic and largely aquatic organisms found both in freshwater as well as marine water. They may be microscopic, they may be colonial, filamentous or massive plant bodies. Vegetative, asexual and sexual methods of reproduction is observed here. Okay, and asexual reproduction is by zoospores. Sexual reproduction takes place with the fusion of gametes, maybe isogamous, maybe anisogamous or oogamous. Example, volvox, fucus. Here you can see the examples of the algae. So here are a few of the examples for the algae. Includes green algae, brown algae and the red algae. Volvox, then Chlamydomonas, Cara. Coming to here, Laminaria, Fucus, Dictyota, Porphyra, Polysiphonia. So these are the examples of algae. Economic importance of algae, or you can say uses of algae. So algae have economic importance, like many algal species are used as food by man and as fodder for cattle. Example, Sargassum, Laminaria, Porphyra, these are used as, so algae are used as food or as fodder for the cattle. They can be used. Certain brown and red algae produce large amount of hydrocolloids. Hydrocolloids are nothing but they are water holding substances like algin, which is produced by the brown algae. Carrageen, which is produced by the red algae, is also used commercially. Now carrageen is nothing but this is a cell wall derivative of red algae and is used as emulsifying and stabilizing agent in ice cream, chocolates, cosmetics, toothpaste, etc. and as pharmaceutical emulsifier, textile, leather and brewing industries. So they are commercially being exploited here. So certain brown and red algae, they will produce large amount of hydrocolloids like algin, and carrageen is used, these are used commercially. Whereas agar is one of the commercial products obtained from red algae like Gracilaria and Gelidium. It is used in the preparation of ice cream, jellies as well as in the preparation of tissue culture nutrient medium, and agar is also used for microbial culture in pathological laboratories. Chlorella and spirulina are unicellular algae which are rich in protein content, and they are used as protein supplement by space travelers and in case of protein deficiency. At least 50% of total carbon dioxide fixation is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. So very important question from exam point of view, economic importance of algae or uses of algae, which includes firstly their algal species are used as food by man and fodder as for the cattle. and brown algae, red algae are used commercially. Agar is one of the commercial product which is obtained from red algae, which is used in the preparation of ice cream, jellies, in the tissue culture as well as in the microbial culture. Chlorella, spirulina are unicellular algae which are rich in protein, and they are used as a protein supplement by the space travelers and in case of protein deficiency. And even carbon dioxide fixation is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. So very important, it is economic importance of algae. Coming to the classification, algae are divided into three main classes: chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. Coming to the first one, chlorophyceae. The members of chlorophyceae are commonly called green algae. The plant body may be unicellular, colonial or filamentous. They are usually grass green due to the dominance of pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So they have pigments present in them are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. The pigments are localized in definite chloroplast. So they are present in the chloroplast. The chloroplast may be discoid. So the chloroplast appears in different shapes. It may be discoid, it may be plate-like, it may be reticulate, may be cup-shaped, spiral or ribbon-shaped in different species. Most of the members have one or more storage bodies called pyrenoids. These are the starch storing bodies called as pyrenoids located in the chloroplasts. Pyrenoids contain protein besides starch. Some algae may store food in the form of oil droplets. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made up of an inner layer of cellulose and an outer layer of pectose. Vegetative reproduction usually takes place by fragmentation or by formation of different types of spores. Sexual reproduction is by flagellated zoospores produced by zoosporangia. The sexual reproduction shows considerable variation in the type and formation of sex cells, and it may be isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous. Examples for chlorophyceae are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Eulothrix, Spirogyra and Cara. So these were the characteristic features of chlorophyceae. So here please remember the pigments present in them. This may be asked as differentiation or difference between chlorophyceae, rhodophyceae in this manner, or rhodophyceae, phaeophyceae. The classifications may be asked for that is nothing but differences may be asked between these classes. So please remember the characters. So they are commonly called as green algae. They may be unicellular, colonial or filamentous. Remember the pigment present in them is chlorophyll A and B, which are localized in the chloroplast, and chloroplast is of different shapes as we have seen. There are pyrenoids present, and then they are having cell wall which is having inner layer made up of cellulose and outer layer made up of pectose. Remember about the vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation and oftenly, or it may be by the formation of different types of spores. And sexual reproduction may be isogamous, anisogamous or oogamous. So please remember the characters. These are the examples of green algae: Volvox, Chlamydomonas, Cara. Even Spirogyra is coming under this, which is having spiral ribbon like chloroplast is present in Spirogyra, having pyrenoids. So that is also the example for the green algae or the chlorophyceae. Coming to the phaeophyceae. The members of phaeophyceae or brown algae are found primarily in marine habitats. They show great variation in size and form. They range from simple branched filamentous forms to profusely branched forms as represented by kelps, which may reach a height of 100 meters. They possess chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, carotenoids and xanthophylls. They vary in color from olive green to various shades of brown depending upon the amount of the xanthophyll pigment fucoxanthin present in them. Food is stored as complex carbohydrates which may be in the form of laminarin or mannitol. Please remember, the food is stored in the form of laminarin or mannitol. The vegetative cells have a cellulosic wall, usually covered on the outside by a gelatinous coating of algin. The protoplasm contains, in addition to plastids, a centrally located vacuole and nucleus. The plant body is usually attached to substratum by a holdfast, and as a stalk, the stipe, and the leaf-like photosynthetic organ, the frond. So it is having holdfast, then it is having a stalk called as stipe, and it is having leaf-like structure which is called as frond. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction in most brown algae is by biflagellate zoospores that are pear-shaped and have two unequal laterally attached flagella. Sexual reproduction may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Union of gametes may take place in water or within the oogonium. The gametes are pyriform, that is pear-shaped, and bear two laterally attached flagella. The common forms are of Phaeophyceae are Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Sargassum, and Fucus. So these are the characteristic features of Phaeophyceae, commonly called as brown algae. Mainly they are marine, found in the marine habitats. They may be simple branch filamentous forms. Okay, and they may be profusely branched also, they are huge, which may reach to a height of about 100 meters also. They are having the pigment chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, carotenoids, xanthophylls. Okay, then stored food is in the form of laminarin or mannitol. Then vegetative cell have a cellulosic wall usually covered by an outside by gelatinous coating called as algin. Okay, so remember these. And they also contain plastids. Okay, then plant body can be differentiated into holdfast, stipe, and the frond. Vegetative reproduction occurs by fragmentation, and sexual reproduction occurs, it may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. Coming now, these are the examples for brown algae. First is laminaria, second is a fucus, and dictyota. So here you can see the plant body, how it is differentiated. Holdfast, this is the stipe, and this is the leaf-like frond. So stipe is the stalk, holdfast is the by means of which it is attached to substratum. So this way they are being differentiated. Brown algae. Lastly, rhodophyceae. The members of rhodophyceae are commonly called red algae because of the predominance of the red pigment R-phycoerythrin. Please remember the pigment R-phycoerythrin is present in rhodophyceae in their body. Majority of the red algae are marine, with greater concentrations found in the warmer areas. They occur in both well-lighted regions close to the surface of water and also at great depths in oceans where relatively little light penetrates. The red thalli of most of the red algae are multicellular. Some of them have complex body organization. The food is stored as fluoridine starch, which is very similar to amylopectin and glycogen in structure. The red algae usually reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation. They reproduce asexually by non-motile spores and sexually by non-motile gametes. So these are the characteristic features of rhodophyceae. So they are divided into chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae, and rhodophyceae. So remember, they are commonly called as red algae. They have the pigment called as R-phycoerythrin. Red algae are found, they are marine, with the greater concentrations found in the warmer areas. They have red thalli, are multicellular. They have complex body organization. Some of them stored food is in the form of fluoride in starch, which is similar to amylopectin and glycogen in structure. Okay, vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation, asexual reproduction is by non-motile spores, and sexual reproduction is by the formation of the gametes. So these are the characteristic features of rhodophycy. These are the examples of rhodophycy: Porphyra, Polysyphonia are the examples for the rhodophycy members. So please remember the characteristic features of all the three, so that if the differences are being asked between any of them, you should be able to write. So here today we will stop, and in the next class we will begin with the next part of the chapter. So today we have completed algae and its classification. Thank you.